Okay, so let's start out, Jake, if you want to just kind of introduce who you are, what you do, how you help entrepreneurs and founders.
Yeah, so my name is Jake Kocher, born and raised in Austin, Texas. Started this business, Aim for Hire, which is a recruiting firm with my brother. We work almost exclusively with seed to Series C funded tech startups, helping them find talent across the org. In addition to that, we also help introduce founders to capital that are raising and typically represent VCs in their portfolio companies when they have hiring needs.
Oh, I love that. Awesome. So yeah, y'all come in from a couple different angles, really helping people get the talent they need to build that business that they're aiming for. I love that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, what we're gonna do is just kind of walk through, because yeah, like as you know, those talent needs, they change as your business goes along. The talent you need at day 0 versus day 100 versus, you know, when you're ready to really scale and launch are going to look really different. So let's kind of walk through these. We're going to frame them around our different stages of growth. But let's say you get to the end of that, we feel good, our systems are rock solid, but we go, you know what? We actually want to scale. We want to reach a lot, like gain a lot more ground, and at the same time preserve the quality that we've built out here in our sustainability stage. What are we thinking about talent wise as we move into scalability and we're trying to, you know, go from the 10 to the 100 to the 1000x kind of thing and really go a lot bigger?
Right.
And this could be in the tech startup, but also like even thinking about like maybe whether it's a franchise model, or now we're adding on new teams where we go, okay, hey, we have this business here, let's add some other teams to really just kind of multiply what we're doing. That can be another way that sometimes the scalability looks, where it's like, okay, I'm literally like, I have one team and now I'm trying to have a second team or a third and fifth team, you know, and kind of keep growing in that sense.
Right. I think so much of it boils down to who's running the process, right? Like, I think, and what I mean by that is, yes, who's running the hiring process? Yes, because I think what we see with a lot of folks is like, okay, well, now that we're about to hire a bunch of people, let's bring in a head of talent or whatever the role is, somebody new, right?
Yeah.
And I think head of talents are great at what they do and like can 100% hire a bunch of people really fast. But I think whoever is brought in or is doing that needs to be like in lockstep with the leadership or in what they're trying to accomplish, right? And like so often what I see is like those two things are again isolated, right? And so you start handing off hiring metrics to the person in charge, and then you don't keep track of it. You just continue focusing on the business, which is fine, but your business is doubling in headcount and there's a bunch of people you don't know now working for you. And that can get off the rails in a hurry, right? And so I think having a person or a group of people that is highly, highly trusted and is like in complete lockstep with the founder and their vision is so important to the scaling of a business, even at that stage. Because obviously there's gonna be some dilution, right? Like the 10 people that started it aren't gonna know each other as well as the 500 people that are working there today. But your effort is to make that delta as small as possible as the company continues to scale. And so I think I kind of view them as like culture champions, right?
Okay.
Like, who are your culture champions? And they're the ones that should be involved in the hiring process. You know, like your culture champion may not be your number 1 AE, but it might be, you know, number 7. And that person is like fired up about working for you. Like, let's have that person in the interview process, not the number 1 AE, because we don't necessarily want, you know, we want to close more deals, but you catch my drift. And so I think identifying your culture champions is hugely important. And I think I've never sat in the seat of enterprise software companies where I'm making decisions. So I don't want to say that I know, but I think I've seen a lot of enterprises cut their culture champions in the namesake of hiring somebody that's done it before, and it goes really poorly.
So what would be some of the marks for that founder to be able to recognize their culture champions, and to both to maybe elevate them, but also, like you said, not like drop them for some other reason, but to recognize, hey, this is the value that this person brings, that I want to both elevate it and I don't want to lose it from my organization. What are some of the marks
Right.
that for that?
I think it partially goes back to like, how much time are you spending with your team? Right. Because I think if you're spending time with them, I don't want to say it's not hard, but generally it's not too challenging to like go into a room and see where everyone's gravitating toward. Right. Like, especially if it's like team critical meetings or something like that, like who are people listening to? Right. And who's maybe going the extra mile, or outspoken about injustice, or those types of things. And I think you can, whether it's you or a manager or another leader in the company, like, I think again it goes back to how communicative are you being with the people on your team that are moving the needle. And like, if you're in your ivory tower, like, you're not going to know. And I think that hurts a business, especially as they try to scale. And so I'd have to think on like more evident flags that you could come up with. And I think the only reason I'm hesitant to give those is because it's so different from company to company, right? Like, culture is just so different. The
flag of one culture to the flag of another culture are gonna look totally different. That makes sense.
Sure.
You might be a great culture fit here and have those same markers over here and be like, that person's out of place.
Right, exactly.
That's a good call out there. But yeah, we're catching this recurring like theme of like, you need to build teams and build talent because you need to delegate and you need to empower and let go of things, but and thus kind of remove yourself from the day-to-day grind there, but you don't need to remove yourself from the talent, is what I hear. That seems like, that just kind of, as we've gone through a lot of these stages, that seems like a pitfall of conflating the two, of like, as the founder, I need to stop doing all this work. Okay, true. I need to stop being around the people who do all this work. False. Is that a good restatement?
I would 100% agree with that. I'm just so convicted by that, right? Because I think, and maybe you have too, David, but if you've worked for somebody you really respect, like, you feel good about coming to work and you're going to do your best work. If you're coming to work for somebody you've never met, it's just different, right? And like, you start working for your manager, who now is the needle mover, right? Or whatever you want to call it, or your culture champion or whatever. But if you're not talking to that manager, then you don't have tabs on them. And so it's all this like trickle down effect. But I just think it's probably the number one thing we see with growing businesses is like not creating enough time to still, I don't know if fraternize is the right word, but spend time with your team.
Yeah. No, that's
it's really like going to a SCO and giving a big hoorah speech. Like, that doesn't get people going anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I think there was a time where that was fine. When people spent 20 years in their same job. But now, like, if someone's at a company for 18 months, it's like, I just about fall over. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're a warrior. Like, 18 months in the same job, like, this is incredible. And so I think that's a product of like people's motivations have shifted of why they work, right? And what they come to work to accomplish.
So as you're sourcing talent, I mean, it does seem like, in light of that, like, you're not just looking at technical skills and years of expertise, but really like trying to get, hey, what's the culture fit? Also, like, is this person gonna like be excited about coming back to work at this new place because they're like missionally aligned? Like, those are things as a recruiter you're looking at, I imagine.
Like, one of the most sought after profiles in all of startup world is the FANG engineer who left a FANG company and went to a startup. And now they're looking for a job, or maybe they're not, but you're trying to poach them, because that to them means, okay, they have the expertise and the engineering foundation of Meta, They looked at a 500K total comp package and decided that they wanted to go take less than half of that to contribute at a high level.
Make something new. Yeah.
And so like, that's who we want. And it's interesting because everybody's trying to hire those people, but
yeah,
that's what we see the most of.